Welcome, dreamer, to Evernight Stories, where night whispers become stories, and stories become dreams. Take a deep breath, and let's wander together into the quiet. Night settled gently around the small greenhouse, wrapping it in a quiet that felt careful and unhurried. The glass walls held the cool air outside at bay, their surfaces faintly misted where warmth met the evening chill. Above, the moon rose slowly, its pale light spilling across the panes and sliding inward like a soft breath. Inside the greenhouse, rows of flowers rested in stillness. Petals curved inward, colors muted and calm beneath the silver glow. Leaves leaned toward one another, casting layered shadows that moved only when the night air shifted. The florist moved quietly between the tables, her steps light against the packed earth floor. She carried a small basket in one hand, gathering fallen leaves and spent stems without hurry. Her movements were practiced, gentle, shaped by years of caring for living things. The scent of damp soil and blossoms lingered in the air, deeper at night than during the day. It wrapped around her like a familiar cloak, grounding her in the present moment. She breathed it in slowly, feeling her shoulders soften with each breath. Moonlight touched the flowers in a way sunlight never did. It did not demand color or brilliance. It asked only for presence. She paused beside a cluster of unopened blooms and watched the light rest on their folded petals. They looked peaceful like this, unhurried, content to remain just as they were. For a moment, she stopped working altogether. The greenhouse seemed to listen. The faint rustle of leaves against glass faded. Even her own breathing felt louder in the gentle hush. She set the basket down and stood still, letting the quiet gather around her. The moonlight traced the outlines of her hands, her sleeves, the curve of her shoulder. It softened everything it touched. As she looked around the greenhouse, she felt the night offering something wordless. Not instruction, not expectation. Just an invitation to slow down. And beneath the moonlit glass, surrounded by flowers at rest, the florist allowed herself to pause with them. The florist picked up her basket again and resumed her slow walk through the greenhouse. This was usually the hour when she would hurry, finishing the last tasks before locking up for the night. During the day, her work followed a steady demand for readiness and timing. Flowers needed to be cut at just the right moment. Arrangements had to look full, balanced, and bright. Customers expected blooms that opened on schedule and held their shape without delay. She had learned to move quickly, to anticipate needs before they were spoken. Her hands were skilled at coaxing petals outward, at trimming stems so they would drink deeply and last longer. There was satisfaction in that precision, but it left little room for pause. Even now, her body remembered the habit of moving faster than her breath. She reached for a pot, then stopped herself, noticing how quiet the night felt. The greenhouse did not ask her to be efficient. Here, after dark, the flowers seemed different. They did not strain toward the light or compete for attention. They rested, folded inward, gathering something unseen. She lingered beside a table of young plants, their leaves small and patient. They were not ready to bloom yet, and the night seemed content to let them wait. She felt a faint ache of recognition at that. Most evenings, she left the greenhouse as soon as her work was done. Tonight she remained, not because there was more to finish, but because something in the quiet asked her to stay a little longer. The moon climbed higher, and its light grew steadier across the glass. The florist stood among her flowers and felt the pace of the night settle around her. For the first time in a long while, she did not feel the need to hurry. The moon lifted itself higher above the greenhouse, and its light changed in tone. What had been pale and distant grew fuller, spreading evenly across the glass roof and down the walls. The florist noticed the shift without meaning to. She paused beside a table of flowering plants and looked more closely. The petals no longer appeared flat or ordinary. Under the moonlight, their colors deepened, softened, and seemed to hold quiet depth rather than brightness. She stepped back, then forward again, testing the angle of the light. The flowers looked almost as though they were breathing, not opening, not closing, simply resting within themselves. The greenhouse felt different now, less like a place of work, more like a space held gently between day and night. The florist lowered her hands to her sides and stood still. She felt the coolness of the glass nearby and the faint warmth rising from the soil below. Her breath slowed to match the quiet rhythm around her. For a moment, she forgot the hours of the day and the plans waiting for tomorrow. There was only the silver light, the still flowers, and the soft presence of the night. Something subtle shifted inside her. Not a thought, but an awareness. A sense that this moment was asking her to notice. The florist stepped closer to the table, drawn toward a single plant resting near the edge. Its bud was still closed, petals layered tightly together, untouched by any hurry to open. She reached out and brushed the leaf beside it with the tips of her fingers. The surface felt cool and firm, alive but untroubled. There was no tension in it, no sign of strain. It simply existed, content within its own timing. She knelt slowly, bringing herself level with the flower. From this angle, the moonlight traced the curve of the bud with gentle precision. It revealed nothing more than what was already there. The florist noticed how naturally she had slowed. Her movements no longer followed habit or schedule. They followed attention. She rested her hand on the edge of the table and stayed there, breathing. The greenhouse responded with quiet patience. Leaves shifted faintly as the air cooled, then settled again. She thought of all the times she had encouraged blooms to open sooner, all the careful adjustments made to meet a date, an order, a need. Those actions had never felt wrong, but tonight they felt incomplete. This flower did not ask for guidance. It asked only for space. The realization did not arrive as a conclusion. It arrived as a feeling, gentle and unmistakable, that growth could happen without pressure. She withdrew her hand slowly and remained kneeling beside the plant. For the first time that night, she felt no desire to change anything. The greenhouse, bathed in moonlight, seemed to agree. Moonlight continued to pour through the glass, settling softly across the greenhouse like a second, quieter atmosphere. It touched the tops of the tables, the edges of pots, the veins of leaves, without favor or urgency. Nothing was highlighted above anything else. Everything was simply present. The florist remained kneeling for a moment longer, then slowly rose to her feet, present. Her knees felt steady beneath her, supported by the cool firmness of the ground. She noticed how different her body felt when she moved without haste. As she walked, her steps made the faintest sound against the earth. Each footfall felt intentional, not because she planned it, but because she felt it fully. The greenhouse seemed to widen around her, as though space itself responded to her slowing pace. She passed rows of flowers she had arranged earlier that day. In daylight, they had looked eager and bright, angled outward to be seen. Now, under the moon, they appeared calmer, their colors drawn inward, richer and more subdued. Petals curved gently toward their centers. Stems held themselves upright without strain. Leaves rested in layered stillness, no longer reaching. The scent of the greenhouse deepened. Damp soil released its quiet richness. Floral notes softened into something rounder and less defined. There was a coolness in the air now, carrying the faint trace of night dew. She paused beside a bench where several plants were still in their earliest stages. Small buds sat low and firm, unremarkable at a glance. She had learned long ago not to overlook them. Still, tonight felt different. She did not evaluate their progress or imagine their future color. She simply observed the way they existed right now. Her fingers brushed the rim of a clay pot. The surface was cool, slightly rough, grounded. She let her hand rest there, absorbing the steady presence of it. The moon shifted higher, and the angle of light changed almost imperceptibly. Reflections slid across the glass panels overhead. Shadows softened further, blending into one another until edges lost their definition. The florist became aware of her breathing again. It had slowed without instruction. Each inhale felt deeper, fuller. Each exhale left her with a sense of release she had not realized she needed. She remembered mornings filled with urgency, deliveries waiting, orders to prepare, the quiet pressure of timing always humming beneath her thoughts. Those memories drifted through her now, not as burdens, but as distant echoes. She did not push them away. She let them pass. She had always believed that blooming was the moment that mattered most. The instant petals opened. The brief span when everything appeared complete. Standing in the moonlit greenhouse, she saw something else. The waiting held its own beauty. The gathering, the resting. Flowers did not rush toward their brightest moment. They moved through darkness and stillness first. They folded inward. They conserved. She traced the air above a row of blossoms without touching them. Their presence felt full, even in their quiet state. They were not unfinished. The florist felt a soft recognition settle in her chest. She too had spent much of her life preparing for moments of display, moments of usefulness, moments when she felt she was doing enough. Rarely had she allowed herself to rest without reason, to remain closed without apology. The thought did not sting. It arrived gently, like the moonlight itself. She moved toward the far end of the greenhouse, where a small bench rested near the wall. The glass here was cooler, carrying the faint chill of night. She sat down slowly, placing her hands in her lap. From this angle, the entire greenhouse lay before her. Rows of sleeping flowers, pots aligned in quiet order, leaves overlapping in layered silhouettes. The scene felt intimate and expansive at the same time, as if the greenhouse were holding a secret meant only for those who lingered long enough to see it. The florist closed her eyes briefly. Light still filtered through her eyelids, soft and even. She felt suspended between effort and rest. When she opened her eyes again, nothing had changed. And yet, everything felt different. The flowers did not need her attention right now. They were not waiting to be adjusted or corrected. They trusted the night to hold them. She felt that trust extend toward her, not from the plants themselves, but from the quiet that surrounded them. Her shoulders lowered further, her jaw relaxed. A space opened inside her where striving had once lived. She realized she did not need to grow louder or brighter to be whole. She did not need to rush toward her next bloom. There was value in remaining exactly where she was. The moonlight continued its slow passage across the greenhouse. Time moved forward without pressure. The night held its steady course. The florist remained seated, breathing, observing, allowing. The greenhouse seemed to breathe with her. Nothing asked her to hurry. Nothing asked her to change. In the soft silver light, surrounded by flowers resting in their own time, she felt herself resting too. The florist sat quietly on the bench and let the stillness settle more deeply around her. The greenhouse no longer felt like a place she managed. It felt like a place that held her. She thought of how often she measured her days by what had opened, what had been finished, what had been given away. Blooming had always felt like the goal, the visible proof that time and effort had been worthwhile. Here, beneath the moon, that idea softened. She saw that the flowers were no less complete while resting in shadow. Their quiet was not emptiness, but preparation. The realization came without weight or instruction. Growth did not require constant expansion. It allowed for pauses, for inward gathering, for moments that looked like stillness from the outside. She felt a warmth spread through her chest, gentle and steady. It was the comfort of understanding something she had always sensed but never named. That she, too, could move through seasons without needing to perform each one. Her hands rested loosely in her lap. They did not need to shape or adjust anything right now. They were enough simply as they were. The florist breathed in and out slowly. In that rhythm, she felt permission take shape, permission to slow, permission to remain closed when needed, permission to bloom only when the time felt true. The moonlight held her in its quiet glow, and she accepted the realization as calmly as the flowers accepted the night. The florist rose from the bench and moved once more among the tables. Her steps were slower now, guided by care rather than routine. She adjusted a pot slightly, not to correct it, but to give it more space. She straightened a fallen leaf and left another just as it was. Each small decision felt lighter, free from urgency or expectation. The greenhouse seemed to respond with a deeper calm. She imagined the morning light returning, touching these same flowers in a different way. They would look brighter then, more open, ready for the day's attention. But for now, their quiet felt complete. The florist felt a wish form softly inside her. Not to hurry tomorrow, but to carry this gentleness forward. to let the day unfold without forcing every moment into bloom. She paused near the doorway and looked back at the greenhouse. Moonlight filled the space evenly, holding every plant without distinction. It felt like a gift meant to be shared, not taken. She breathed in once more and let the calm extend beyond herself, beyond the flowers, into whatever waited for her next.